Hello students, Michael Sanchez, violin teacher here. Welcome to the advanced webinar every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. We're helping students improve on the violin at the more advanced level. And the last 2 weeks we've been working on the Bach Double and the Mazas and giving students technique tips. Every week we've actually had more students play as we're a really fun group and we're all friendly and we all clap. Let's start with our claps because we love to encourage each other. And the first student that plays always gets the biggest claps because it always takes a lot of endurance and effort to be the first. So yeah, we have a commitment of 3 that are going to play today, and we're actually going to focus on the Mazas, the sweeping stroke. And the first few weeks we've kind of only been doing the first half, the first sections. There's a lot of sort of tough spots in there, so we're going to focus on that today. So yeah, let me put on Jasmine, who's played the last few weeks. How you doing, Jasmine? Let me unmute. There you go. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
How are you?
I'm doing well. So yeah, there's people watching out there that might not know you, so please introduce yourself.
My name is Jasmine, and I'm from Bristol, Virginia, and I've been playing for, it'll be 9 years this coming July, August. And I started in elementary school maybe for 2 years and then left it, and I've gotten back to it about 9 years ago.
Sounds great. So yeah, you've been working on the Mazas and the Bach Double, correct?
Yes, yes.
Great.
Not easy. Not easy.
Not easy, that's right. Yeah, anything in particular that's been popping out at you, or just intonation, rhythm, all the basic stuff?
Intonation, the stretches, the finger stretches, that, all that, and also the bowing, because it's something I've not done, because I've been playing a lot of Irish music and it doesn't have, yeah.
Yep, absolutely. To do everything at once can be challenging. So segmenting all that is good. But yeah, let's take a look at how you're doing with it. So if you want to, start from the top.
Okay. Okay. That's the hard part. Okay, let's stop right there.
Let's give her a hand. Yay. Hey, it's not easy to do that.
It's not easy to do those string crossings, especially if you have to stretch your pinky to do that F natural is pretty tough.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm glad that you're doing those 4th finger stretches as, I don't know, some of you guys out there might be quote unquote cheating there, doing low ones on the E to F natural, but it's definitely the right way to do it, like Jasmine did with a stretch 4. But that's a tough intonation to reach.
Yes, yes, it is. It is.
Absolutely. Good job. It sounded great.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, your accents were good. Lots of really good there. Lots very improved from last week. And just a few spots with the rhythm. Technically, you just kind of took the beginning a little bit quick. And then when you got to the more quicker sections, it made it challenging to sort of play it in tempo.
That was probably a lot of nerves right there.
We'll put it on that. Hey, I've heard you play it exactly right before, obviously. So yeah, you probably just started a little fast.
Yeah, nerves.
Great.
And I hit the G sharp better this time than I did the last time.
You did.
Yeah.
You did. Yes, it was much more in tune. You can definitely tell you've been working on it. So I think the stretch 4 is sort of the tough intonation. I'd say just keep working on that. Your left hand has really improved a lot. Just keep at it. You're putting a lot of work in.
Yeah, I'm working on it. Yes.
Yeah. Any questions on that other than just the intonation, the rhythm spot? I do want to keep going a little farther. If you want to warm up, look, while we.
Yeah, sure. I was going to ask you on that line 4, the last two measures, those little arrows over top of the notes. What is that?
Line 4.
Yeah, the last two measures.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're basically emphasis marks. They're similar to accents. So yeah, don't think of anything different. Just that it's sige. It's just basically the same thing, but with eighth notes instead of quarter notes.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Yeah.
know why they had.
The dash is détaché. So the dashes are more legato, but slightly separated. And then the arrow downs are more emphasizing accents. So more more of the bow moving at a quicker speed to sort of emphasize the notes.
Oh, okay,
Good
okay.
question. Good question. Yeah. Great. Awesome. All right. Let's have you keep warming up, Jasmine, and I'll have you keep going. I'll mute you, and then we'll come back to you. How's that?
That sounds good.
Great. All right. So we have another student that's willing to come on here. Sonia, looking forward to you telling us about yourself, as most people don't know you yet. And you have a very awesome country that you're in right now in a totally different time zone. So tell us about that.
Hi,
Well,
I'm originally from the UK, but I now live in Australia. I've been here for nearly 7 years. Yeah.
and you're interested in improving your technique.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. And you haven't really been able to get on the classes, but you finally had a day off, you said?
That's right. It's Anzac Day here. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah. So anything in particular that you are struggling with, you sort of just offhand feel like you need help with, or just you want me to hear you play it and just kind of give you some tips?
Yeah, I think the same as Jasmine, it's the fourth finger extensions that are really tricky.
Oh, yeah.
Even when I played them as a child, I remember even then still not being able to do them very well. So if there's any tips or exercises that I can incorporate into everyday playing, that would be really useful. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let me take a look at your hand position as you play it, and then I'll give you some good
Okay.
tips and drills that I think would be really helpful and probably most
Sure.
likely to the rest of the class as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Wonderful. That's so great. Let me put the gallery view on so you can all see the claps. Very good. Wonderful technique. Really. Sonia, you play so well. You were trained well. Who taught you? Really?
Well, I first started as a child in primary school and went into secondary school, but since taking the violin up again, I've lived in a few countries. I've lived in the UK, which I got some good lessons. I lived in India for 2 years, which I didn't really have any lessons. And I'm now in South Australia, which I describe as a string teacher desert. I have one teacher who's not qualified, but she's very experienced, within about a 350 kilometre, 200-mile radius.
Wow.
So with the advent of internet, that's made things more accessible. Yeah.
Yeah, that's inspiration for me to continue doing these with people that are, not have the access to the teachers. Absolutely. Great. So, yeah, I definitely can give you some good tips on that. But really, just awesome general technique. Not any bad, really crippling habits at all. So that's good. I can see what you're saying about the fourth finger stretch. Maybe curving the fourth finger a little bit more, just a little bit more, with a little bit slighter angle back slightly, and a little slighter hand up slightly. But you're really close. One way to test is to do, if you guys actually want to do this, grab your instruments. We'll do this test together. So put your first finger down on the E string in the low position, F natural. Okay. And then I want you guys to not just do a fourth finger on the G, but a high stretch 4. Okay, let's see if you guys can reach that. Okay, that's a big stretch. Do a low 1 to a high 4 stretch. If you can't reach it, try just the normal 4. That's fine. Okay, but technically, if you can sort of aim for the highest of the high, then you'll probably be close, right, to a good hand position. So what this is going to do is going to make sure, Sonia, that our hand is high enough, knuckles are up high enough, and also our angles are back enough, which is going to help us to reach that fourth finger stretch. Okay, so yeah, it's basically F natural, 4, or even higher would be a stretch 4. So right now I'm actually keeping both of those down. I'm able to reach a low 1 on the E string and a stretch 4 on the G. So that's a big stretch, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a big stretch. But
I think I just have a short 4th finger as well.
that doesn't help.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, so I recommend you guys do that if you're not quite sure if your hand is high enough or back enough. That's going to help your fourth finger stretches in here. But yeah, overall, just really good technique. A little bit too much arm movement, I would say, Sonia. Just more extension, bending instead of arm. In general, that's going to limit you a little bit more in a more advanced repertoire. But yeah, I also was paying attention to sort of how you were transitioning using small muscles. It could be a little bit more index, more small muscles a little bit. It's not really anything that's limiting you in this music, but more later on, I would say if you work on, just extending more. One drill I do with students is I put their elbow up against a door or a chair, and I'll just have them practice without being able to come out farther with their elbow. So just working on this. So if you guys can work on that, you could also just hold on to your arm and just do open strings. So open D and just kind of hold on to it. Just kind of limit it. Because it's easy to use a lot of arm. And that's a big muscle, which is it's going to make playing the Mendelssohn concerto very hard, which is the piece I'm working on. But yeah, just try to extend more, bend more. It's all about kind of crippling this more. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Yeah, as far as in the piece, intonation was excellent. There's a few rhythm spots I'd like to point out to you, Sonia. So I'm going to share my screen here a second. Let's see here. Raise your hand if you guys can see my screen. Okay. Okay, so you took it a little quick, Sonia, to where you kind of were behind on the first run, or the second run there, third line. And then you kind of were not in tempo for the eighth notes that followed. So yeah, could you start at the third line for me, and just let's see if you can do that more in tempo. Yeah, it's a little bit. Sorry to stop you. Yeah, it's a little bit off tempo. I think you've gotten into that habit a little bit of being a little slow with those eighth notes that follow based on the speed you're taking the quarter notes. So it should be. So yeah, it's quite a bit. Yeah, sorry. Actually, I took that slow there. It's actually. That. And then also with those grace notes, try to make those a little bit quicker. Kind of like I just did that. I liked your accents. Your accents were good. So just a few little spots with the tempo. Let me keep going down. Why don't you start at the fifth line for me? So it'd be right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, right here. Oh, you're muted. Sonia, you're muted. Let me unmute. Good. Yeah, right there. Make sure. Actually, just thought of an idea. As you're playing, I could mark stuff that I'm noticing that's not correct. Raise your hand if you guys like that idea. I'll take a little red pen, just mark ideas in there. Okay, yeah. Let me show that so you guys can relate to that. So yeah, that there's a spot in there that you did a staccato, Sonia.
Yeah.
Let me point that out. So right here, this is actually legato.
Oh,
Right
yeah.
there. So I think you might be seeing that dot as a staccato, but that's actually not any bow separation there.
Okay.
Good. Yeah, I think you know when you're not in tune with the four stretches.
Yeah.
Another tip: more force with the sforzando, so more of digging in with the index finger into the stick. I mentioned earlier that I think that you could be using in general more index finger to bow. I think that is showing there that maybe you're using more arm than index to sort of get force, and that applies to dynamics and applies to really everything. You're getting a clean sound. There's not really that you have tension. It's more that you're not using the index as much as you could, especially shown, yeah, in that spot there with that sforzando. So try to dig in more. Go ahead and start at the fifth line, the fourth measure. The rundown there, and see if you can kind of more force into the bow. And if you're not quite sure how to do it, I can show you as well.
Is it the sixth line?
Yeah, let me mark where we're kind of looking at. So I was wanting you to start basically right. I'm just wanting, yeah, you free to play this right here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, try the rhythm right.
That was better. That was much better. Yeah. So yeah, I know a lot of students are mixing up accents and sforzando. So let me explain that concept. So an accent is more of a bow speed change. Okay. A sforzando is more of a bow pressure change. Okay. So basically, with an accent, you're not pushing down into the stick. You're more pulling the stick and pushing the stick. So an accent is. So that's the beginning. Then right here we have a sforzando signified with the SF. So for this, we actually want to put pressure down into the stick and release like this. Like that. So actually having the bow stopped for a second and sort of pushing in is key. Otherwise, it's going to sound too much like an accent. Okay. So yeah, go ahead and that was much better, by the way, Sonia. Much better with the sforzando. It could be even a little bit more, kind of to get that bite, but that was much better. I know, Jasmine, we've been working on that in our class on Thursday. Do you want to try that as well? That spot there with the rundown and the sforzando?
I'll wait and try that after. I mean, which one was that? Line 1, 2?
Oh, you know what? I just want to hear you do a sforzando, so why don't you just do the beginning then again? Because, yeah, it's technically accents followed by the sforzando.
Is that the F note right there?
Yeah, anything that says SF is the sforzando compared to the accents. So there's quite a few. Let me go back to share screen here. I'll just point them out. So let's see. So anytime that you guys see the, I'm sorry, I'm saying SF.
Yeah.
It's FZ.
C.
FZ.
Yes.
One Forza. So it's basically, but it could be SF as well. The same idea. So these right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right here. Yep. All right. Go ahead and try it. Yeah. See if you can do that. Get that bite.
Okay.
And by the way, just real quick, this just to let you guys know, if you guys don't know this, sigue means continue on the style. So that's what that means.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, where are you?
I was playing line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th line.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Okay, you're back where I was originally saying.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
You want me to try that again?
Yes. Quite a bit more pressure though. It sounded too nice. As nice as you are, it sounded too nice.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Be mean to that A flat. So.
Okay, let's try that.
Yeah, I suggest playing that more at the frog. You're going to get more of a bite at the frog. You're going to get more of a weaker accent or sforzando forza at the mid bow. So yeah, if you watch, I'm playing this at the frog. Like that.
Okay, good. Okay, let's see if I end up at the frog. No, I did not.
Yeah. So you guys can work on that. Awesome. Okay, well, I want to keep kind of moving through this. So I'm going to have Jill come on with us. And Jill is one of our more advanced students, performers as well. She's been playing a long time. And Jill, I'm going to have you not start at the beginning. I'm going to have you start more, how about where that's basically leaving off there after that sforzando? So line, I mean, if you can see my screen right here. So right there, unless you want to start anywhere before that, you could start at this spot too if you want. It's line 5 at the whole bow, or line 6 at the F natural.
Muted.
Oh, there we go. Good. Yeah. Awesome. All right, let's give Jill and Sonia a hand. I forgot to give Sonia a hand earlier. Thank you, Jill. Great job. Awesome. Yes, good. Lots of good there. So, yeah, I would say, well, yeah, do you want a few technique tips as well, right?
Of course.
Okay. Crossing strings, I like it. I think you're doing better with using more bow, but yeah, there's a little bit of weight in the arm as you're kind of coming over. I think probably because you're thinking about the left hand a little bit, I guess is, but good. It's really sounding great. I mean, the beginning of it, good accents. I really like that. There's a couple spots, and this is going to kind of be the lesson part of this, is there should be a lot of emphasis in that section that we just played there. So I'm going to share my screen. So let's see, let me go here. Yeah, really from here on out, there's just a lot of accents and a lot of emphasis. So what I'll do actually is I'll play it from here. And I want you guys just to pay attention to the way that I accent and emphasize. I'm using lots of bow. Raise your hand if you guys can see my screen as well as the music. That's good if you can. Okay, great. Okay, so yeah, it should be lots of bow, big fortes, lots of accents. So I'll start from there. And obviously in here, Jill, intonation, right? Right here is where I really would emphasize more in vibrato. Forzando. Oops, I'm missing a note, sorry. F natural. So yeah, just a lot of emphasis in there. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Teacher doesn't need clapping. I'm not trying to show off.
It still sounds good.
I just want to play for you guys so you guys can play along with me. But yeah, I don't know if you guys just noticed a lot of bow, a lot of force, a lot of strength. This is a piece about strength. So a lot of index, a lot of pressure in the index. Let me talk a little about that. So yeah, a lot of you guys are just kind of bowing and not doing a lot with the pressure down into the stick. So as I'm doing that, I'm pressing down a lot. And also intensifying vibrato. So yeah, a lot of you guys just put more into the stick. So obviously you can't see, how much I'm pressing, but I'm pressing a lot. Okay. So I'm basically, this is my pressure in those sections. I'm pressing a lot. Like this is probably what you guys are doing normally with your index. You're kind of doing the same thing with the index in general. In that section, I'm digging like Joshua Bell in there. Not really like Joshua Bell, though, but you know what I mean. How he plays in those intense concertos, just really digging in more into the stick, okay? Raise your hand if that makes sense. Digging. Dig, 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 dig. All right, so let me hear somebody dig. Who wants to try it, the ending? Raise your hand. With lots of force. Cricket, 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 cricket.
I've got to practice those
Yeah, I know a lot of you guys might not have gotten that far yet, but yeah, I
Yeah.
really recommend for you guys to work on this week. And this is a really good etude because it emphasizes index pressure, accents. It's not so much for intonation as much as articulation. It's a great articulation piece, etude. So yeah, Sonia, would you be willing to play at least before that? Not maybe the ending, but somewhere before that? I can give you some more tips.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. We'll have a go. Yeah.
All right, let's clap for her before she even starts.
Maybe not.
Maybe I should play at the end.
Where shall I start?
Really anywhere. I mean, I would love for you to get through some of that with the E string part in there. But why don't you start at line 6?
Yeah.
Good. Good job. Yeah, and you even before I even mentioned it because I forgot that I didn't talk about it, but I liked how you slid down into that A from third position. That was really good. So yeah, she did that really well in there. Good. Yeah, technique. A lot of things I've already talked about. Few rhythm spots, but not really. It was actually really good. I would just say, yeah, more index in general. Sonia, more index. Let me give you a drill to do if you haven't seen this one before.
Okay.
So yeah, if you guys want to grab your bows, all you students here, let's have you guys do this drill. It's my index drill, and it really helps us to actually do a lot of what we need to do in here. So let's grab our bows. I'm muting everybody. All of a sudden, everybody's unmuted. All right. Okay. So set your bow on the strings, and make sure your bow's tight enough, by the way, for this. Okay, so what I want you guys to do is have a good bow hold, not pressing up against the bow with the thumb and the pinky, and I want you guys to press down with the index aggressively. Okay. So, but what's key is I don't want you guys to use the whole hand to press down with the index. So the index is moving independently. It's not being helped by the whole hand. A lot of you guys that maybe are getting a crunchy, bouncy, not good sound with those forzandos or any of the parts I'm talking about, you guys are using tension to do it. It's all here. It's just a lot more here than you're probably doing. Pressure, okay? So this is where we're practicing that. We're practicing that pressure. Now what I don't want you guys to do is I do not want you to rock the bow hairs. So I don't want it to look like this. See how the hairs are rocking? I want the stick to come down to the hair, like that. Okay? Not this. Now here the hair is rocking. That's implying bad muscles being used and also just bad bow playing. So we're practicing exactly what we're trying to do to get that force, that strength. Okay, you can do that in different parts of the bow. Notice how my pinky is curved. I'm not being helped. My pinky and my thumb are not helping my cause here. Okay. A lot of you guys have bad habits right now with this, with this. You're using these two fingers to do it, and that's incorrect. That causes bad sound with violin playing. So yeah, you want to make sure you're not using those. So yeah, do this in all different parts of the bow. So here, here, and at the tip. And then just to throw this in, because I know even you more advanced students have been playing longer, but you still have tension. So I recommend throwing in a rocking bow drill in there after doing this. So basically taking your elbow above the instrument, dropping it down to your side like this, and try not to make a sound. Be as quiet as you possibly can doing this. Okay? Because this is really good to combine with the index drill, because you're getting used to all of the pressure, and you might be doing it incorrectly with tension. And then all of a sudden you have to do a rocking bow drill, and then you might be getting this, which we don't want. We want it to be quiet. Okay, if you get a few here and there, that's okay. But just as quiet as you can. Make sure that you're dropping the arm all the way down for that. Okay, so yeah, this is basically really good practice. I'll do this for a couple minutes a day. So I'll do like 1, 2, 3, rocking bow drill. Middle bow. 1, 2, 3. Quiet rocking bow drill. Not restricting my arm. Don't cheat. Bring it all the way up, all the way down. Expose yourself. 1, 2, 3. Rocking bow drill. Okay. So if you do that every day for 18 days around, you'll see dramatic improvements in your technique and your sound. It's never too late to do these things, and really it's good, because I think a lot of students, what they do is they start doing the pressure into the stick that we're talking about, the increase, but they do it improperly. They use big muscles to do it. Okay, and that applies to everything. That applies to when you first start learning spiccato. It applies when we first start learning all the different types of new techniques with violin. One of them is a sforzando, putting more pressure than you're used to into the stick, more force. So you guys have to keep good fundamentals with everything we've learned. It doesn't change. Okay, it might feel comfortable to change. So good. Any questions on that? Is that, oh, Christina, I was going to say, is that your hand or is that your dog? It's your dog, isn't it? How you doing? All right, cool.
My cat was saying hello.
Oh, your cat. Hey, look at that. Cool.
Running away now.
Nice. All right, so yeah, I highly recommend you guys to work on the drills. Obviously, always working on scales, working on the Mazas to the very end for next week. So yeah, these are really just two great pieces to work on, the Bach Double and the Mazas. I think it's going to really improve your guys' index ability, your overall tone, because if you start to get more used to more pressure with force, it's going to translate nicely into your sweet pieces, like playing sweetly, because you're able to manage the bow pressure. Okay, and also when you start using more pressure here, you're also going to be more used to and be more comfortable pulling and pushing with the index, just using it in general. And then you're going to start looking more like Joshua Bell, how fast that bow moves and still sounds as sweet as butter, right? Because there's no tension, but there's maximum pressure. He's pressing down a lot, more than you can imagine. He's pressing a lot, okay? He's also pulling and pushing a lot. It just doesn't look like it because, it's just a stick. Can't see it, but it's happening. It's happening a lot. So that's what we're working on in this class. And it's going to translate nicely into the Bach Double, which eventually, we have, faster bowings and just in the tone of it, just. So there's a lot of that force in there that I think is really good to work on in the Mazas. Instead of just playing it weakly, this would be playing it weakly, right? Right? There's no passion, no strength in a forte, right? So that's all what I'm doing here, along with my vibrato. Any questions on that? All right, so let's give all the students a hand for participation today. Gallery view. Everybody's still here, that's good. No tomatoes thrown. See, you guys are getting more and more comfortable as, you know, we're all friendly. There's no criticism here. We're all learning. And there's even more people popping in that came late that had to kind of watch from the outskirts. But yeah, I encourage you guys to participate or watch these videos on YouTube. I'm posting all these classes that I'm doing every week on Tuesday nights. Basically, I'm doing 4 classes. I'm doing a 6 o'clock class at 6, a kids class at 6 o'clock on Tuesday nights. At 7 o'clock, I'm doing a fiddling class. We just got done with that. 8 o'clock is this class, the Bach Double Mazas. It's basically an advanced class, people between, I would say, 4 to 10 years experience. And then coming up here is the big one, which is the adult violinist webinar. We have about 50 to eventually 100 students in that range that all come on that are beginner intermediates, all wanting to improve their bow holds. So that's coming up here soon. But yeah, all the videos are on YouTube. So look up my channel. It's youtube.com/violintutorpro. And if you're interested in any of these classes, there's links on the videos, but you can also visit my website at violinshack.com and just send me a message on the website. And yeah, get involved in our community. I appreciate you guys being here. I hope you had a good time, learned a lot, and practice hard. We'll see you guys next week.